Hey ToB fans, this is Julian. I just want to let you guys know that we couldn't record a full episode this week. We've been really busy, but don't worry. We have another ToB Interlude for you. This time we're talking about Arkham Origins again, but more so about the DC universe and its permutations through television, film, and games, and what that means to us fans. So I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed recording it. I mean, we did. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to it. I forgot to mention actually last week that Jeremy, me and we're on the, where we were going to Comic-Con, and we were talking about what the Arkham games mean, and Jeremy had a really good point about how it's like we have the movies now and the shows, and now we have these Arkham games. It's like its own universe.
Yeah, the movies are the realistic version, right? We get them like stripped down, but like they could actually happen, right? It's very sci-fi. Yeah, then you have your comics, which is your original where it happened. You get your animated movies, which is basically straight from the comics. But these Arkham games, if they develop into more studios and more games, it's like straight from the comics. Like no realism has to be there. Like it's awesome. Like all the characters can do whatever they want.
It's a new medium to tell the different stories.
Yeah, and then with the end of Arkham Origins, with the whole Amanda Waller and having like Suicide Squad and other superheroes maybe popping up, like it's going to be a huge, rich universe. Like that's going to be our DC universe video game world. Like
and like Dan was saying last week, probably the next one will be a Batman game with other heroes making appearances.
Yeah, no, they're gonna make appearances for sure. It's probably will play just as Batman. Like I don't know if that's the right way to go with it.
Well, you can spin it out from there,
because
maybe.
Like maybe the game after that you go with the other characters, you introduce them here now or whatever.
But here's the thing, okay, like if the next game is like a Justice League game or even a combination, and maybe they're not the Justice League yet, but if in a game where you have Superman and Green Lantern, you might have some mini boss fights where you're playing as Batman against them, and you have to be smart. But once they are on the same team and once they're teamed up, Batman is never the physical. Like he's all about the strategy and tactics.
Yeah,
that's his role in the Justice League. He's not going to be taking down Darkseid, although Final Crisis, but like.
Yeah, but uses
this is the comics, right? It's comics, right? So in the comics, you see Batman get punched by Darkseid and hit a wall and come down. Then he's
okay.
He's okay. He's slow to get up, whatever. Yeah. That's what's going to happen and stuff like that.
Sure, it's just like if you're playing in a Justice League game and you're only playing as Batman, there's going to be a point where Green Lantern has to carry you somewhere.
Or Superman, and they make jokes about that in the animated movies.
I know, it's going to be like...
He doesn't like getting carried.
Yeah. But I think it's awesome just from his perspective and all those characters coming in, maybe you fight them and they're like, hey, wow, Batman has an answer for everything.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Cool. And like part of the Arkham games is that you really do feel like Batman when you're in there. You don't even take on a horde of enemies. If you feel like Batman in a Justice League game, you'll feel like you're underpowered. You'll feel like there's no way you can compare to the other.
No, because it'll be different. Like you don't know who you're fighting, right?
Yeah.
Give me those minions from the New 52 or whatever.
Those things are pretty powered, though.
He fights those things and takes them down with his gadgets. You can do that. Green Lantern flying up above using his construct. Like it's
that's all cool. But like then are those your grunt enemies or are those mini bosses?
Sure. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is you don't want to take away the feeling of being Batman by having all these super powered people around you, right?
The thing is, the game is not going to work the same on that scale.
So,
but look at Arkham City when you fight Grundy. He's huge. He's massive.
Yeah.
All these has superpowers basically. Yeah. Things are popping up and everything. You always have an answer to dodge and do whatever.
Yeah.
Superman, Wonder Woman, they all do it a different way. You know what I mean? Like I think. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm just having a hard time picturing it.
When they all like bull rush a scene, like what is Batman going to do?
Pretty much.
But why though? Like, there's people he can fight on the ground. Same with Arrow.
I know, but then here's the other thing. Yeah, he has his role. He's fighting the ground troops.
Yeah.
That's arguably the less interesting stuff. That's not the main story.
But that's going to happen all the time though. There's not going to be like crazy sweet enemies all the time.
I mean, mind you, they could write it well enough so that Batman is like the integral part of the story. Like he has to be the one to save the Justice League in certain situations or whatever. They can make it work. I'm just saying it's going to be tough if you're only playing as Batman with all these superpowers around you. Like there are going to be people that want to play as Green Lantern.
The best way to do that story would be to do like the Tower of Babble.
Yeah, Tower of Babble. I was thinking of Doom the whole time, actually.
And it's like, because then you're just Batman the whole time, and you're literally just going around saving every other member of the Justice League. But you're saying, as you were saying, like about not wanting to remove the feeling of being Batman, what Arkham Origins did the best of all those games is making you feel like a detective, whereas the other ones not as much. So if they concentrate on, like, I don't know how you do it gameplay wise, and you make yourself feel like a tactician and like a just like the all-knowing superhero Batman, like the Bat God version of Batman that Grant Morrison always likes to write in his stuff. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But
and then, or you
gameplay,
but you didn't. Okay, but you're saying, well, yeah, that's not interesting if you're fighting grunts and you see Superman fighting Doomsday over in like the.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be fighting Doomsday the whole time though. He's gonna be fighting grunts too.
No, I know, I know. Just but like Superman would be able to take out grunts with it, blow them over.
New game, you can't just press one button. It's not gonna.
No, but like that's
that.
Exactly.
But people would be like, what the hell?
You have a power meter. You're gonna get the power meter down, then boom, sure.
Or you just do it in a very cinematic way, so that you're seeing these things happening. Yeah. You're involved in it. It's kind of like,
you're
when
on the ground, you see them flying above you.
You pull out kind of like God of War 3 style, and you're on the ground, and you're still fighting. You're still doing. You still have to. You can still kind of see the little counter moves and stuff. Yeah. And you can see Superman, and you see Superman like fly in, boom.
Yeah. And then like you're on the ground, and then you can throw a battering up there that ends the fight that takes him before Superman can take him out, or a gadget.
So you're like, and it zooms back down.
I know what you mean. Yeah. It's just, again, like, if you see Superman fighting with, like,
I don't think you understand how badass Batman is.
How does the concept work of this team, then, if Batman's just a human being?
That's why it's
so you don't think it works at all?
I'm not saying
you don't think the Justice League works
But it happens in the comics, and these are...
That's a huge hurdle they
have. Yeah, but these happen in the comics all the time.
Yeah, and in a Justice League comic, Batman's not always the focus. He's a big
No one's ever a focus. They're all a focus. They're all doing their
stuff. More interesting stuff is not happening central to Batman.
But what does more interesting even mean?
Like, if you're fighting, like you're saying, fighting grunts on the ground, and you see Superman and Black Adam fighting up there, that's what's interesting. That's the story. You're just doing that work.
That's what Batman does, though. He can't do those things.
Exactly. That's why, as a Justice League game, it doesn't work to be just play just as Batman, because you don't get the.
But it's not. We're not saying it is a Justice League game.
Whatever the next.
And if it is Batman, you're from his perspective. It's cool to see all that shit around you.
So I think we said this last week too. What I'm saying, if they're going to introduce larger parts of the universe, and you're playing just as Batman, it should be the origin of the Justice League. It should be.
Yeah, no, that's what I assume it's going to be.
Sense. But then after that, if it's a Justice League game, you have to expand the roster.
But you can spin out. You can spin out. I think. Okay, we don't know how, but you can assume you can do a Superman game that's not shitty. You'd think you'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you go from there and you spin it out from there.
Yeah.
And then Arkham games are so obviously the core of your franchise with the strong gameplay, the fighting mechanic that brings everyone back. But because it's so much just the comic book version, it doesn't have to be true to like realism in any way.
It's not super fragile.
And you can do those comic book stories in a way that it feels right, because it's so over the top and crazy.
We all agree that it should be from his perspective or whatever, and that should go around you, and the formation of the Justice League, that makes sense.
For the first one, I'm down for that.
And then the story is gonna make the formation happen.
I don't ever want to see them make Batman get into like a mech, like bigger Batman suit. You know,
he has got those suits,
I know he does that kind of stuff, but I just don't want to see that in it or play that in
a
game.
In Dark Knight Returns, he puts on
he has this crazy armor to fight Superman and stuff. I know
you're gonna need that at some point. And then in Man of Steel 2, they square off. So what the hell's gonna happen there?
There's gotta be. I don't know. We don't know.
And that's your definitive answer of how a real life Batman can fight an alien super being. You're gonna see it on film.
I'm pretty sure the definitive answer is that he can't. We all know that. But
the definitive answer is that Batman wins every time.
It's going to happen in the movie, Daniel.
It's gonna happen.
It's not gonna be a one punch. Like,
we have no idea what they're gonna write and how they're gonna do it. All I can assume is that Batman has it all set up. He's gonna have holograms and shit.
The weird thing is, though, like, I mean, I guess that you don't know at what stage they're at, but like, how much does he know about Superman at that point?
Probably a lot. He's been.
And we didn't talk about the two images that Snyder also showed, right?
What?
The two images that Snyder showed.
Yeah,
it's like Batman and Superman like facing each other, kind of like.
Yeah.
Batman's kind
weird
of
art,
eerie
but
looking,
cool
and Superman's kind of strong looking, but it's for the movie. That's concept art for the movie. It's not officially what they look like.
No, obviously, you can't make them
they're
look
squaring
weird
off for sure. So.
Yep.
But they're equal, though, is what he's trying to get across too.
Yeah, well, I think that's always been kind of like their two sides of the same coin. Batman and Superman are.
Yeah.
When you think of like a Justice League game, just think the Blur trailer from DCUO.
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
And you think that, right? That first trailer, and it's so sick. You have Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and they're all doing their own shit on their own.
Yeah, they're all.
Okay, and what's Batman doing the whole
time?
But
that's what Batman does. That's who he is.
No, but then he fights Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he is. That's what happens.
It's cool. I get it. I know that's part of it. It's just that's not the whole story, and it's going to be hard to only tell it from one perspective.
He does get killed really
easily in
that trailer.
Well, he turns out he wasn't dead because the second.
I've always liked whenever there's giant fights in comics or anime movies, they all have their opponent that's evenly matched or whatever, and everyone's doing their own thing in their own way. And if you don't like it that Batman's not as big and as powerful as everyone else, then that's just weird because that's not who he is.
Batman has killed Darkseid twice in the comic. Well, not killed him, but like defeated Darkseid twice.
That's the beauty of Batman is he can handle his own, doing his shit. Doesn't matter if Superman's flying and fighting Black Adam. That's what he does. That's not what Batman does.
Is that what you were thinking when you said Superman flying and fighting back Black Adam? You're just thinking of that Blur trailer when they're fighting?
Well, it was Green Lantern fighting Black Adam. But yeah, that's essentially what I was thinking. But for whatever reason, I was picturing it on the God of War 3 map at the beginning, like you said.
But like, I can just see but like when that shit's going down, like Batman's doing his thing, and like we can cut to a cinematic trailer where Batman's kind of commanding everyone, like Captain America, like he is kind of a leader, right?
Yeah.
Like, strategically, and like stuff like that can happen. So I can picture it all. Like, and I'm actually I might be more excited for the next Arkham game than I am for Man of Steel 2 right now for some reason.
Really?
Just because you can
Origins is kind of a letdown.
No, Origins is whatever. Origins is basically like
it's like a stopgap.
Yeah, it was a filler. Like,
it was a filler, basically a filler. You get a little bit more a taste before the new one. But there's so much more shit that can happen in this new game. I predict that every Justice League member is going to show up in this game.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Aquaman will be there.
Aquaman for sure.
Cyborg will be there.
Yes. They're all going to be there.
I don't know about Aquaman, but Cyborg guys for sure.
They're all going to be there, man.
I understand Cyborg because Cyborg and Batman have like a connection in the new 52.
It's all going to lead up to bigger games by WB. They might even open up a new studio, just like every other studio. When they get huge, they open up a second division to make more games. That's my prediction, right? So I'm more excited for that than Man of Steel 2 because
there's more possibilities.
Man of Steel 2
way more possibilities.
Batman versus Superman.
It's a direct translation direct translation of the comics, which is super cool, and you get to play as these people.
Well, and not only that, it's like
I can't wait to see Ben Affleck.
You know for sure that they're gonna have that original cast from like the Justice League animated series, like Jim Daly as Superman, and like all those. They'll probably have
Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Yeah, well, obviously, but you'll probably have like that same person playing Diana, and you'll have that Clancy Brown playing Lex Luthor.
Nathan, what's his name?
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion's Green
Lantern. Well, in the DC animated show, there was Jon Stewart, right?
Yeah, and what's his name? Who played Nathan Drake, the voice actor?
Nolan
North. Yeah, well, he's already been involved in there.
He was Green Lantern in Crisis on Infinite Earth, actually.
Mm-hmm. And he's also played the Penguin in Arkham City.
Well, did he do it
No, someone else.
Sounds similar, though.
Yeah, it sounds the same. Doesn't really matter.
But yeah, super stoked for the announcement of the new Arkham game. So.
You know what's going to happen at... You think what? VGAs?
It'll happen soon. It's going to happen soon.
VGAs?
VGAs, yeah.
Uncharted 4 and Batman? VGAs?
Yeah, probably. It's going to be VGAs.
Biggest
wait, isn't that October?
No, it's... No.
Wasn't the VGAs always October?
Maybe they bumped it because of the new consoles.
It's got to be November. It's got to be the end of this month then. Or no, it's December actually.
I don't know.
Early December.
You think it's by the end of the month because you want to do the best games of the year.
Yeah.
You know, best sports game is always Madden or NBA.
And I'm super. Obviously, I'm excited for the movie, but like, it's a small stepping stone into that larger universe. Whereas the next Arkham game, I think, is a huge stepping. Point to that.
I think
well, there's a lot riding on both, I'd say, but
like, how sick was it in Arkham City when Nightwing popped in and Robin popped in?
Yeah. Tim Drake's Robin, right?
Yeah, it was Tim Drake.
Yeah, and then
you can see like Superman just like floating down
Azrael, whatever, up on the thing. Like
they did a really good job with that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I don't know if I'm necessarily more excited because to see Batman and Superman on the screen together, especially with Jim Lee, if that's true, a Jim Lee inspired Batman.
I'm excited to like he was saying, seeing them all together. And, CG, the cutscenes in Origins are sick.
Well, because we just played Origins, right? So I'm more into that mindset.
Yeah.
Obviously, movies are like up there, right? Like you want to see those.
That's like
in real life people.
Yeah, it's like
right?
actual people. This is actually Batman
with the technology we have today and like the people behind it. Like, it's gonna be awesome. But the game where you get to play it and feel like you're in the comic book world, like
that's true,
literal translation, and you get to play as them, like that's awesome.
It's just much more interactive and immersive.
Well, that's what
people
don't understand.
Arkham games are unbelievable. Like when you're in Gotham City, you can fly around, do whatever you want, and see things and meet people.
That was part of my gripe with this Arkham.
Well, this one, there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah, it seemed small.
You would meet Batman characters all over the place, like
yeah.
Was Jack Ryan or whatever, like in one alley?
Jack Ryder.
Ryder, sorry.
Was he quote unquote dead or like something?
No, you save him in Arkham City.
Oh, really? Because he has.
You got to go in more buildings in Arkham City. This one barely any.
Yeah, I think there's.
You got to go in the church again to see Black Mass, but you just fight
the
him.
same fucking church.
That's
another thing. Just the enemies like Deadshot and Black Mass. Like at the end, they were just some random side mission. Like there was nothing.
The side missions sucked in this game. In Arkham City, every single one felt like
It was
huge chapter or its own game in its own right almost.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up, it just seems like a dumbed down version of Arkham
dumbed down
City.
version to rehash. It's almost like an expansion pack, I would say.
Yeah.
A
It's got
glorified
some cool
expansion
cutscenes,
pack.
and the story's
cutscenes
decent.
are maybe better than Arkham City.
Yeah, they are.
And some certain things like the Red Hood Joker origin little scene that was
well.
awesome.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
We did actually, if you go seriously go back, listen to last week's episode
Because like,
we talked about Batman and Joker for literally. Yeah, it's just a Batman.
That's sick. The Mad Hatter side story was okay. It wasn't long enough. But even that was kind of shitty. It wasn't as good as the Arkham City one where Arkham City one where like it was like a huge fight scene and like you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, the first time you do it, you have no idea.
You just nonstop.
It was kind of a mixture of Scarecrow, kind of like platforming.
Yeah.
What else was good?
The game wasn't horrible. Like it just seems like we're ragging on it so much, but like it wasn't bad. But it just wasn't as good.
And then like right where Alfred like convinces him to go back out or whatever, and like
we talked about that too.
Trying to
No. There's a couple scenes. I'm talking about the end where he wants to go back out. No, is that the one?
When he brings him back to
life.
There's
one scene where like Batman's talking, whatever, and like there's flashes to a bat like hanging.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, yeah, that one's sick.
Because there's the one scene where
and it goes in and in and in, like in the like, damn, this is awesome. It's like an animated movie right now. Perfect.
Apparently, there's one point if you go back to the Bat like cave at some point during the game, or Alfred's like staring down into like the bottom of the cave and says he saw like a giant bat creature.
Yeah.
I didn't see that part.
I haven't noticed.
Did you see the Ferris aircraft crate by the bridge?
That's his favorite thing. I don't know.
I think it's cool. Ferris aircraft crate.
Well, I mean,
it's like purple and like white. Or
yeah, they have the Queen Industries stuff.
And then the Queen Industries one, like they a lot of nods, but not enough nods as there were in Arkham City.
Well, maybe they
and you
just
couldn't
weren't as
scan
obvious.
anything, and it didn't give you any backstory to any of these scan. Like you couldn't scan.
You can scan the Anarchy tags, but that's
but like, you could like Queen Industries. Why not scan that and it pops up all the things about Queen Industries?
Yeah.
You know, like there wasn't any clues.
And
that.
that's it. That's all. It wouldn't say anything about Green Arrow. It would just be like, they're just about the company, and then just.
Yeah. Something else.
About
but the fast travel though was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We kind of predicted that.
Yeah,
for a Gotham game.
Yeah, you
like
just
flying around the bat.
You just use the Batwing. But I was saying to Daniel,
Batmobile too.
How do you use it? How do you do a Batmobile? How do you use a Batmobile without it being stupid or with like Grand Theft Auto where you're crashing into stuff all the time?
I don't know. I mean, like, does Batman need to drive around all the time? Like,
no, I don't think you do. I think maybe you
it's
have
just an iconic thing is the Batmobile, right?
Yeah.
Or you have a mission where you're escaping and shit. And
it's just kind of like
the thing with the grapple accelerators. You can get around the city pretty fast, like just like that. Right?
And wasn't that a grapple accelerator prototype in Arkham City? Like, why the hell?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like it's not ready. Oh, he says it's not ready for field for field use.
You're right.
And then he said they have a field testing joke in this game. It's called field testing. Remember?
Yeah.
But like this, we played 3 games now, where the Batmobile was literally like a side. Like the first one, you get a thing from the trunk, and then it gets crushed by a boulder.
Shitty too. They designed it.
Yeah, and then
you use it to take out.
Actually, no. In the beginning scene, he's driving it. And taking
and that's pretty cool.
And then the second game, it's just not in there. It's just not there at all.
Yeah. It's not in the Batcave at all.
You don't go to the Batcave in Arkham City.
You do.
You're in. No, you don't. No. You're in Arkham City the whole night. You're on there the whole night.
There's a Batcave in Asylum and a Batcave in Origins, but in City.
So and then in this one, it's like dismantled or like being built.
Made.
Yeah.
So now it's like in the next one, if you don't use it,
like blows up because like that's where Alfred got like.
Yeah. That's like great. So now we have another game where we don't use the fucking Batmobile.
I really don't care that much about the Batmobile.
I think it's cool. Like
the Batwing was really coolly designed.
The Batwing is cool too, but like in the movies, how we can just like float down to it and go in the lid like shuts or whatever.
Was that the movies or is that
the movies? Like
yeah,
it happened in the game too. In this game, right at the beginning when after you take out Croc and Gordon them are at you, he jumps back and then the Batwing's coming up and he gets him.
Oh no, I'm talking about Batmobile too. Like, yeah, Batwing. Cool.
No, the best scene ever with a Batwing is literally that exact scene from the Batman animated series. He's on like the bridge on like some.
I thought you were gonna say Justice League Doom. Where he's like,
it's like the Justice League is under attack. By who, sir? By me!
He doesn't even get it.
It's instantly just flying
through the waterfall.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Alfred, get the Batwing ready. The Justice League is under attack.
By whom?
By me!
That is we watched it over and over and over again. I watched it over and over and over again.
It's the best.
It's the best. And then music kicks in. It's like, by me. It's like
not for Christian Bale.
But it sounds almost like it.
Well, it's Kevin Conroy though.
Oh, it's so sick.
Man,
No, okay, but the other version of Kevin Conroy in the Batwing is like when you guys remember the Batwing version was like super flat, just looked like a batarang with the wings.
Yeah.
He falls backwards off of like a bridge, and like the cops are like, and then like he's just silhouette like like how they did it perfectly in the animated series. Yeah. Silhouette like the Batwing just like.
Yeah,
and he just turns around.
Gets in the first movie too, like how it like flew up to the moon, and it looked like the actual bat symbol.
And
but in this game, it looks cool. Very like military looking, like
it's sweet how you get in and out of it every single time. Yeah. You're just angry.
It's like the in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, it's like a little motorcycle thing
that you go onto and like kind of go down.
Is that what happens in
Origins? Every time you're in the Batcave and you're like,
no, I know that you get into
Knight,
like the thing like it's
in the Dark Knight he drives like this, but like he goes in to like, shoot missiles or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it makes sense to go like on a
I was like, I see him going on the little bike, and I'm like, that's gonna be just uncomfortable. It's like,
but it makes sense to
like,
hop on that to get into it instead of opening up a lid and jumping in all the time.
Yeah, it does make sense. I think we've talked about Origins a lot.
It's fresh right
It's the first time I talked
I
know.
But like
other things I want to mention, like
the voice acting was good, right?
I love the voice acting. I like obviously Kevin Conroy is the great. Like he is Batman. That voice is Batman forever. But this one was refreshing to me. I liked how
I didn't like it that much.
Very emotional and like just like raw.
It made sense as a younger Batman that he wasn't entirely sure of himself all the time, and I don't know. The voice wasn't that different.
I didn't buy it as a younger.
It's very
Kevin
different
because
Kevin Conroy doesn't get that emotional and that like vicious though. He doesn't do that.
Yeah,
he's just calm. He's just very much like
this
get
one
the job
was
done.
like one of the Christian Bale where it's Batman trying to have that demeanor and trying to sound mean and like crazy. You know what I mean?
So it's just funny. So okay, this is gonna sound super gay. But
I just thought there.
The voice, the guy who narrates "Say Yes to the Dress" on TLC is the same fucking guy who voices Batman in Origins. It's the same guy.
Yeah, but this doesn't sound.
I know, but like it's just so weird. It's like completely opposite. And he was on one other podcast I was listening to from the Reviews on the Run people, were those not Tommy Tallarico, not anymore, but Victor Lucas, his Vic's Basement is what it's called. Anyways, so they had him and they were talking to him about how he does the Batman thing. He's like, he literally can't go like lower, like into like a lower register.
But you know what did remind me of a bit was Chris Redfield from the Resident Evil games.
I think he does voice Chris Redfield.
No, he did. I looked it up. I thought it was Chris Redfield for the beginning, so it kind of ruined it for me.
He talks about Chris Redfield in that podcast.
Oh, he does?
I think
he might do him in some iteration, but I looked up like the Resident Evil 5 version of Chris Redfield wasn't him.
Yeah, he did like a really funny thing where he does like the stupid like Resident Evil style like cheesy,
at the end of his speech,
cheesy.
But I didn't mind it, and then Joker was good.
Joker was perfect. That was my favorite. It's like, you know, we had Mark Hamill say, you know, I'm not going to do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to worry. We have a guy who just sounds exactly like Mark Hamill who can do it forever.
He's good, but Mark Hamill still has that tinge of, like, super
insanity,
psychotic to him, you know?
But I thought that was, again, we mentioned this last week. I was talking with Daniel, and I said that the thing he did the best, the way he captured the Mark Hamill's Joker, was his ability to go from, like actually a comedian, like making just a joke, to being like completely insane and murdering within like that snap of a finger.
Yeah,
you know.
And his whole telling of his origin was sweet with
talking with
Harleen or whatever. Yeah. That was awesome.
I think that was
how he's like explaining it to her, and you can tell like she's falling under his spell.
Yeah, the best
while
part of that
you're
game,
learning about his origin and the Red Hood, and you're controlling it.
The best part of that game starts as soon as you jump off that building and save the Joker's life.
Yeah.
And
like we've always talked about like their relationship, and it's like really fleshed out.
We don't want to get into it because again we talked about Daniel Joker and Batman.
We can talk about it off mic.
Just the Batman Joker thing for a long time.
Well, okay.
And we go into
I would like to get your opinion though. We kind of touched on it. We didn't really come to a consensus about why Joker like they have him like that demon bat attacking him.
Oh right.
Like,
every time
he
saw
see
that
and be in love
from
with
his
that?
perspective, it was always that giant creature thing.
I don't know. I don't think that's like
what does that mean?
I don't know if I even like that actually.
It doesn't, because it doesn't tie into that whole like his connection with Batman. Like if that was what you saw, why would you have?
That's also in his mind. He loves seeing demonic things like that. He sees
it's also like a parody thing,
or he sees things for what they really are, kind of thing.
I guess. I mean,
and he's having fun with that one thing, but I don't know. It was a weird choice, but I don't know.
It reminds me of that. I was saying, it reminds me of that scene from the Batman Begins with the tar and all that stuff. But that was with fear toxin. So this, he's just that crazy. That's how he sees it.
But that's just their take on it, right? It's not officially.
But but you have the story. But you're telling the story about him and this connection that he feels with Batman after he saves his life.
I don't know. It's something weird. It's like he's looking in the puddle and then he's looking at his reflection.
That was
Batman
sweet.
jumps out at him, and it's like that's him recognizing that Batman made him what he is.
Yeah, that part was awesome. Where he was moving into the same person.
Mm-hmm. So it's all about destiny and fate, and that they are fated to do that.
And it's really explained well in that whole scene. It's awesome.
Well,
they talk about it in this Necessary Evil.
That scene is to me gives perspective on the other two games that you don't even get with. Because that's
why he does what he does.
That's the end of the Batman Joker story. Essentially, is that
and then the end things we're gonna have so much fun together.
Those things have so much more weight when you see this stuff. You don't even. I feel like if all you did was see that part of this game, you don't. Even
that's the best part of this game is seeing that whole and playing through that whole part. It makes the whole game worthwhile, in my opinion. So.
Well, there you go, guys. That's our ToB interlude on Arkham Origins and the DCU. If you want to hear us again, we'll be on next week. We should be back next week. Find us on iTunes and Stitcher. You can find us at our website at www.towerbabblepodcast.com, Twitter at TowerBabblecast, on Facebook and Google Plus as well. So we'll see you guys next week.